Some jobs aren't meant for the living. When the city sleeps and the tracks lie empty, shadows move in ways you can't imagine, and the rules you follow may be the only thing standing between you and something hungry in the dark. I never asked for this job. The text arrived on my phone at 11:58 p.m. No sender, no signature, just 3 words. Crestwood Station, midnight. By 11:59 p.m., I was standing under flickering fluorescent bulbs in a dead train station. The automatic doors groaned shut behind me, and the world went eerily quiet. On the ticket counter lay a single laminated page dripping with condensation. Night shift protocol, Crestwood Station 0000 to 0010 a.m. The west entrance will click open. Stand perfectly still. 0027 a.m. A voice will whisper your name over the intercom. Do not answer. 0114 a.m. A suitcase will appear on track 4. Do not touch it. 2:03 a.m. You will hear a child laughing down the tunnel. Never follow. 2:47 to 2:55 a.m. All lights will cut out. Remain motionless. 3:33 a.m. A lullaby will play backwards. Plug your ears and wait. Rule 7 is never written. You learn it by surviving. I tucked the sheet into my jacket and drew in a trembling breath. At 000, I heard metal scrape against concrete. The west doors swung open on invisible hinges. Beneath the dull glow, a woman drifted into view. Her skin yellowed and taut, lips peeled back into a silent, wide-eyed scream. Her eyes were hollow craters leaking darkness. She stood 10 feet away, head tilted, watching me breathe. I couldn't move. When the doors slammed shut, I blinked and she was gone. My pulse thundered as 0027 struck. The intercom buzzed like a wounded insect. A voice, soft, intimate, slithered through the speakers. Jacob. It dragged out every syllable as if tasting them. My throat seized. I scrubbed my palms on my jeans, trying to will the trembling away. At 1:14, I shivered as a suitcase materialized on track 4. It was old military green, its leather scuffed and wet. I felt its malignant weight in my bones before I even saw it. The station lights shimmered across a dark stain at its base, dark enough to be blood. My skin crawled, but I obeyed. I stared straight ahead as if the rails held a dozen trains, not a single one. The child's laughter began at 2:03. High-pitched, innocent, then twisting into something agonized. It echoed, bouncing down the tunnel with cruel mockery. Jacob, come play. I wanted to run, but my legs were nailed to the floor. Footsteps followed the giggle, tiny, nimble feet pattering in the black. Then, silence. Suddenly, at 2:47 the lights died. Absolute blackness, thicker than shadow. I felt breath on the back of my neck, hot and ragged. Something sniffed the air around me. My heart hammered so loud I thought it would burst. Then, 8 minutes of unmoving agony, until the lights jolted back to life at 02:55. The platform was soaked. I looked down to see my own footprints leading through crimson slickness that wasn't there before. The walls dripped with fresh blood, and every echo of dripping water sounded like a heartbeat. At 03:33, the station speakers warbled into life, a backward lullaby. Tinny warped and carrying a child sobbing beneath the melody. I clamped my hands over my ears, but the sound burrowed under my skin. When I forced my eyes open, something small pressed against the glass of the ticket booth. A pale face with hollow eyes and a grin split ear to ear. The glass fogged with its breath, then shattered inward with a single invisible impact. I ran, tripping over my own feet. I sprinted past the turnstiles and out into the cold night air. Only when the sun's first pale rays touched my face did I dare look back. Crestwood Station stood empty and silent, as if it had never awakened. In my pocket, the protocol sheet had one new line, scrawled in dripping red ink. If you listened, it already knows your name. My phone buzzed with a final message. Good work, Jacob. See you tonight. I threw the phone into the gutter and never looked back. I reached my apartment just as dawn cracked the sky. Every door was locked, every window latched. But when I hung up my jacket, I saw crimson staining the sleeve, my own blood. My heart thundered. On the floor lay my phone, its screen cracked but still glowing. I knelt and swiped it awake. One final text blinked in the dark. Shift restarts at midnight. I dropped the phone like it burned my hand. Silence pressed in. Then, from somewhere deep in the apartment, a backward lullaby slithered through the air, soft and mocking. I spun around. In the reflection of the living room window, a small, pale figure stood behind me. Her hollow eyes locked onto mine. Her grin split her face. I couldn't move. The lullaby wound tighter around my bones, and as the final notes faded, I realized I'd never left Crestwood Station at all. The station had followed me home. Rule 7 never ends. If you hear that lullaby in your own walls, don't answer. You won't survive to learn the next rule.